Okay, hello everybody. This is Dr. Krofchek, and we're looking at lesson 37 today. Today is Thursday, October 18th. If you weren't in school today, then you get a chance to take a look at what we did in class, and hopefully it'll help you. We're looking at adding and subtracting decimal numbers. Adding and subtracting decimal numbers. Hopefully you'll find this lesson to be not too difficult, and we'll get through it here in a few minutes. And we're going to start with just talking, when we're adding decimals, when we're adding numbers, I should say, one of the most important things to do is to align the digits that have the same place value. So when I'm doing that, let's just say I want to add a number like 12. Come on, 12. I want to add a number like 112, and then maybe just the number 2. So what's important and what you need to see is when we're obviously adding, it's very important that we keep our digits in the same column. We have our ones column, our tens column, and our hundreds column, and we want to line our numbers up so they're in the right position. That, of course, is going to make doing the addition that much easier. So in this case, when we do this, obviously 2 and 2 and 2 is going to be 6. We have basically, you can basically put a 0 here if you wanted to, just let you know that that column is full. You can put a 0 here and a 0 here. I don't think you necessarily have to do this, but just to make sure everything is in the right position, sometimes it's good to have that visual. That's a 2, and this is going to be a 1. Our number is 126, and life is good. So that's what we want to make sure. We want to make sure that you line up the place values, line up the digits in the proper place values. So the ones are all in the ones column. You wouldn't want to put 12 here, 112 here, and then 2 here. It's just visually not very healthy for you to try to add numbers up like that, because you could think that oh, well, maybe I should have a 0 here, and wind up adding like 2, 5, and 2, and your number is 252 instead of 126. So really important that you line your numbers up, and that'll just save you a lot of aggravation later on. Okay, so let me get rid of some of that stuff there. Let me erase that little bit right there. Grab my pen, and let's look at our first example problem. By the way, before we do that, let me do one more definition for you. So that's when we add numbers without decimals. When we're adding decimals, let's take the number 2.3, 2.41. We're going to take 2.3, 2.41, and then we want to take the number 0.3. And we want to add those all up. So we take our 2.3, and then we're going to take our next number, which is 2.41, 2.41, and I said 0.3, but I was mistaken. So I'm just going to scribble that out, and I want to put down 31.7, and that's our other number that we have to add. So we're going to add 31.7 and draw my line across. Hey, listen, one of the things we want to make sure that we do when we have decimals in a number that we're adding, we want the decimal places to be lined up. You see the way that I have these decimal places right on top of each other? They form a perfect line. I don't have one over here and one over here somewhere. I have them in this nice line. You want to do that. That helps line up your place values actually too. That's the benefit of that. But when we're adding decimals, we want to line our decimals up, and then it makes the addition really easy. Now, once again, like I said before, and you don't have to do this, but I just like to make sure I don't add 7 and 1. I have to look and see that right to the right of my decimal are my first set of numbers right here. So they're in order. I'm not going to do anything with that. But this 1 is by itself. So I'm just going to put a little 0 there to know that I'm not supposed to add a 1 to the 3 or 4 or the 7, even though it's kind of obvious. You could even do it over here too if you wanted to. You can put a 0 here and a 0 here just to remind you that you don't want to do anything crazy and transfer that 3 to another line, another column. So when I'm adding this up, now I'm going to go ahead and do my math. I'm going to add this up, and I get 1, I get 7 and 4 is 11, and 3 more is 14. I'm going to carry, and now you see my decimal comes down here, so I'm going to bring my decimal right on down. I still have that 1 that I have to carry, so I'm going to carry that 1 over here, and I have 2 and 1 is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3, 3641. And you can see very nicely how we do this by keeping our decimals lined up. Well, like I said, whether you add these zeros here, that's up to you. You may want to do that, you may not, your choice. But just make sure that what's really important is you have these decimals. You line up your decimals on top of each other and you bring it down in your answer. That's what's important. So let me clear this out and we'll get on to our first example. The first example in the book talks about rainfall over a 3-day period. And I'm going to write the information down here that I need. It says that the rainfall over 3 days, and I don't think the 3 days is important, but it was 3.4 inches. 3.4 inches. Now, if the days are important, I can always come back and add them. Over the 3-day period. So rainfall, I'm going to put down here 3 days because now I'm reading the question and I see the days are important. So it was 3.4 inches. Then it was 0.26 inches. And then it looks like on the 3rd day, or one of those 3 days, it was 0.3 inches. So it is important that we have 3 days because it rained so much on each one of those days. So, we can call this day 1, day 2, and day 3. It doesn't really matter, but that's how the rain fell. It says altogether how many inches of rain fell during those 3 days. So we're going to add those 3 days up. And to do that, we're going to start with the first day. I'm going to put it here, 3.4. Okay, my second day was 0.26. I'm going to put my decimal spot right there. And it's going to be 0.26. The first spot after the decimal to the right is my 2. I'm going to put that there to start it. And then I'm going to know where to put the 6 and where to put the 2, just so there's no confusion. And then I can see that I have 0.3 on my next day, so I'm bringing my decimal down, and the 3 goes right here, which means the 0 has to go right here, 0.3. Now I have everything lined up nice and neat. There's no problems. Everything is good. Everybody's happy. And now what I'd like to do is I have 3 numbers that I'm adding up, and I have 3 digits here. I have 3 digits here. I'm just going to add those zeros so I don't make any mistakes, so I have 3 digits in all my columns. And now I'm simply going to go ahead and do my math. I have 6 here, 4 and 2 is 6 plus 3 is 9. I bring my decimal spot down, and 3, 0, and 0 is 3. And my answer is 3.96 inches of rain. 3.6 inches of rain fell over the 3 days. Now, I don't have to write this down. I'm just doing it because I like to use my tablet. I think it's cool. All right. Well, listen, let me erase all this stuff here that we have. I'm going to erase it all. And I'm going to be curious to see if this shows on my board or not on my tablet because I've increased my surface area. I don't know how this is going to work. We're going to find out. That may have all been a blank screen for you. If it was, I apologize, and I'll know not to do it the next time that I do a lesson like this for you. But now we're going on to example 2. It says a gallon. A gallon is about 3.78 liters. So a gallon equals 3.78 liters. We're just going to make a capital L for liters. If Margaret pours, so Margaret, we're going to put down Margaret, who is a female. So Margaret pours, how much does she pour? Where's the answer? 2.3 liters of milk. 2.3 liters of milk from a 1-gallon bottle. How much milk remains in the bottle? 2.3 from a 1-gallon bottle. The question is, how much milk remains in the bottle? That's the question. How much milk remains in the bottle? 1 gallon is 3.78 liters, and she poured out 2.3 liters. So how much milk remains in the bottle. Now, it doesn't ask us to convert this from liters to gallons. So don't be confused by that. It's just asking us the very simple question of how much milk um, is left. How much milk did she leave in fact in that bottle? So we're going to try to figure that out. And obviously we want to start with what we have. We have 3.78. Hang on a second, Kirby, stay right here. We have 3.78 liters. It's what we started with. And then it says Margaret poured out 2.3. So she removed 2.3. So we're going to subtract 2.3 liters. Keeping our decimal spots lined up, we see the 3 is to the right of the decimal. And so I put it right to the right of the decimal, which means my 2 has to go to the left of the decimal. And that's fine. And we're in liters. And 2.3 is the same thing as saying 2.30. So I'll put that 0 here. Just keep all my columns lined up with all the even amount of numbers. And I'm going to have to scroll down here a little bit because I'm running out of room. And now we do our math, of course, which is hopefully the easy part of this problem now that we have it set up. And we're subtracting, we're not adding. I can take 0 away from 8, and when I do that, I'm left with 8 still. I can take 3 from 7, and I get 4. I bring my decimal down. My decimal doesn't get moved. It comes right down. I subtract 2 from 3, I get 1. And I find out that Margaret had left in her gallon jug 1.48 liters of milk. So that's the 2 example problems for today. I hope you understood that. I hope it made sense. And I'll see you in class.